Broadcasting from the Mountain Home Services Studio, this is 97.5 KZNS FM Colbert, 1280 KZNS AM Salt Lake City, and 102.7 KSL FM HD2 Salt Lake City Midvale. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Over 2 decades of sports radio dominance in Utah.
My favorite.
This is DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Nominate the youth sports volunteer you know for the Hercules Hero of the Week. Submit your nomination at KSLSports.com/contest and listen every Thursday afternoon to JJ and Alex for the winner. Help us celebrate the efforts of those volunteers making an impact with the Hercules Hero of the Week, sponsored by Hercules First Federal Credit Union and Beehive Meals. DJ PK, and we're joined now by Kevin Graham to talk a little football. KG, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Hello to everybody at the road home. Been a part of many of those radiothons. I think it's tremendous. I'm glad that they're still doing great things for the community and for those that are in need. And I think it's great that you guys are a part of it as always. So, hi.
Hi. Listeners can donate right now at 801-819-7300, 801-819-7300, or go online to theroadhome.org/donate. Kevin.
Yes, I thought it was great, by the way, because all radio companies would come together as one. I don't know what the format is now, but back in the day, remember, like competitors, we'd all come together and raise money for a great cause. So I always thought that was special.
It looks like there's 9, maybe 10 radio stations here today. There's
we're in a big tent in the parking lot. It's down west of I-15, kind of what? Midvale? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, very nice. It's different than what it used to be. Yeah.
They tore down that old building. I think it's an apartment complex.
Unfortunately, for some reason, it's pushing 60. So a lot of times we're cold because they just put us in a parking lot and put carpet on there. But it's not too bad today.
No, I think it's good. Unseasonably warm here. Yeah.
All right. It's much better than the last live show you did where airplanes were flying next to you. So I could actually hear you. So that's good.
That was awesome. The airstrip down there.
Air Force One was there too. I think.
Air Force One went by in Spanish Fork. It was great.
That's right.
All right, Kevin. Theoretically, you could be talking to somebody who's in the fantasy football semifinals, and you could be talking to somebody whose opponent has Puka Nacua, who just went for 46 points thanks to 12 catches, 225 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Awesome!
Wow. Well, so you had a great night then, didn't you?
No,
good for you.
I'm beating like a drum. And
you're playing somebody.
I'm playing someone who has that. I do not have Puka Nacua. No, he has Puka Nacua.
Yeah, no, I have Puka. I have Puka in one of my leagues, but that's a league where actually, both my leagues, I started 6-2 in both leagues and then haven't won a game since. So I haven't made the playoffs. So, but yes, Puka was amazing. What a game that was. I mean, seriously, like that. Everyone's proclaiming it the game of the year, and I think it's hard to argue against that. But just to see Seattle and Darnold be Darnold, meaning, he always seems to revert to Jets Darnold when the pressure's on. He had 4 INTs when he played the Rams the first time and they lost. He had 2 INTs in this game. But somehow, I think it all started with the punt return, with the touchdown for Seattle with the punt return. He gutted through, man, and the Rams kind of went quiet on offense after Stafford was just blowing them up all game long against, I think I heard you earlier, DJ, and you're right. I mean, Seattle's got a great defense. And, but then they stopped, and Seattle kept going. And then you got the 3 2-point conversions, although I agree with your Two. Well, I agree, because the third one, I 100% agree with you, PK. I mean, you can't, and it's the same thing I noticed, too, as I'm watching the game. I'm sitting there, why isn't Herbie and Al Michaels talking about the fact that once the ball was hit off the helmet or whatever it was, and it goes into the end zone, and Charbonneau, who gets credit for the 2-point conversion, literally just reaches down and picks up the ball. He's not even trying to recover it for a 2-point conversion. You know why? Because the play is dead. Like, right. I mean, the referees are waving their arms.
It wasn't alive. How do you award 2 points on a dead play?
I agree. Like, I don't understand that either. Like, and if they knew it was a live play and they didn't blow it dead, damn well the Rams would have been trying to get the ball as well.
Yeah, it would have been the usual rugby scrumble for the ball.
Yeah. So if a whistle incorrectly blows a play dead,
then it's dead.
So
it's dead.
Is it 0 points or is it a do-over?
No, it's dead. It's an inadvertent whistle. They screwed up. Sucks for everybody involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, but unless the whistle wasn't blown. But to me, as I looked at the play,
players
it
stopped.
appeared to me. I swear I saw referees waving their arms above their head.
Yeah.
What's that?
All the players stopped. There was something that happened because
which
22
was the
players
whistle.
to stop. Right?
Charbonneau just picked it up
Yep.
as if it was a dollar bill he found on the sidewalk.
Yeah, it was a rando quarter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
he
didn't
was picking
dive
up to
on
hand
it.
the ball to the ref. Like, here you go, ref. Sorry, it sucks. We didn't get the 2-point conversion. We're going to lose. Oh, wait, timeout. No.
If they're going to
we're
assume
we got
that,
it.
I'm going to assume a Seattle guy picked it up and then he would have returned it 100 yards. Or a Ram guy.
Ram guy. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it just, I don't know. Again, what makes this league great, but still, man, and Puka sends the tweet out again after he did all the dumb things he did earlier, and it's like, I get it, but I don't, he's not wrong. I mean, because I don't think the refs messed that up. Like, I want more clarification, and for whatever reason, I'm not seeing it, as I'm reading like crazy today, and I'm not seeing a lot of people like raising their hand going, like, time out. Like, that ball was dead. So, whatever.
Right.
Hell of a game, though. Hell of a game.
And I expect more out of Al Michaels because he's the second best broadcast major to graduate from Arizona State.
Nice.
I know. It's good. He, in the Pat Kinahan wing of the Walter Cronkite building, there's a picture of Al Michaels. Like, they did just put a little picture in there because you allowed it, PK. I think that's awesome.
Sure. We stick together.
Yeah, exactly.
So there should have been 6 minutes left, and it should have been 30-28, and who knows what happens.
Yeah, maybe they still win the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? That's important, though. 30-28 is different than 30-30.
Right.
So I mean, come on, whatever.
So you think though
it was a great game.
that were the preview of the NFC title game?
I think so.
If
I mean,
they
I think
can
right
meet
now,
that
how do you
way.
argue? Yeah, I mean, I mean, how do you argue against those two teams right now? I mean, the 49ers are sneaky. Keep an eye on them still. It's just I'm amazed how well they're playing this year with all the loss of personnel. And Green Bay keeps losing games. Denver beat them last week.
Parsons is out. Is that defense going to be
I got
tough
you.
enough?
That's why I said and Green Bay.
Well,
I didn't say and Green Bay.
No, I'm with you. Like, Green Bay and Philly could pull it off, but there's no way you could rank them 1 and 2 right now.
Oh, no,
And
not at
San
all.
Francisco's defense has taken major hits. They lost Bosa. They lost Warner. They gave I mean, they're playing well, but they also gave up 24 points to Titans last week, who obviously have major issues. Now, they had a big lead when they did it. It'll be intriguing. They're playing the Colts, who clearly have their problems. I think the Niners will beat the – wait, are they playing the Colts? Yeah, they're playing the Colts.
Yep.
Yeah, the Niners defense
Colts,
should
Monday Night
handle the
Football.
Colts and pick up another win. I just don't know if that Niner defense could slow the Rams down at this point. Healthy, they might be able to. I think it's the Rams. I think the Rams beat the Seahawks in the NFC title game. If I had to pick right now.
Did you mention Warner?
I did. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Warner and Bosa are both out.
Okay.
It's two massive. I mean, that's not just losing 2 starters. That's losing 2 guys who make game-changing plays.
No, I got you.
Yeah. I think that number 1 seed is important, though. If Seattle can hold on to that number 1 seed, and there's no guarantee on that. I think they got Detroit, and I can't remember the next game they have. But if they don't have the 1 seed, I do agree with you 100% that the Rams are the teams, particularly if they get the 1 seed. But if Seattle gets the 1 seed, I mean, I know home field advantage isn't as important, in playoff time, it seems like in the NFL, but still, that's a tough place to play in Seattle. So we'll see.
Seattle is at Carolina this week. Next.
Yep.
I mean, not this weekend, but
Yep.
their next game is at Carolina, and they finish at San Francisco. And I think it comes down to the Ram offense. They throw the ball so well. If you put them at home, on turf, in a dome, in perfect conditions, they're going to be flawless. Whereas if they have to go to Seattle, it could be cold, it could be rainy, it could be windy, it could be a totally different deal. Trying to throw the ball in the wind, good luck with that.
Yeah, well, technically, I don't think SoFi's a dome, but yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, it's a big tent over a field. It's whatever. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, the weather's usually
No,
okay.
but you're right, though. You're right. It's L.A., so you're going to get better weather there, obviously.
You think,
so,
right, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
What since you have such a strong connection here locally, what you think of the Whittingham situation?
I'm taking it from an outside view, okay, used to being on the inside, and obviously you guys are on the inside constantly now. It's weird to me. I mean, it doesn't smell right to me. I get what you were saying, PK, and what you've written and you've talked about he's making this move and he's actually doing it to benefit the program. I kind of look at it and go, man, just common sense. He's the great, arguably, and I don't, not even arguably, he is the greatest long-term coach in University of Utah history. Yeah. And you just had a really good season. Yep, you blew 2 big games, but you had a really good season. He's got the program back on track. And yet he steps down, but then still says, well, that may not be done. So then I'm like, well, then you should just why step down? But to your guys' point, and I'm not criticizing Morgan Scalley for this. I'm just trying to throw a question out there. Obviously, Morgan used some leverage in the Penn State thing to probably help him out. And so I'm not saying Morgan should be blamed for pushing Whittingham out, but the fact that Morgan Scalley, there was people sniffing around him, Kalani in particular, possibly bringing to Penn State, also tells me that I think Scalley kind of wanted the job, or at least I think he was getting, again, outside view, just kind of giving my common sense kind of, realist, slightly, negative view on
he
this.
wants to be a head coach. He wants to be it now.
Yeah. So how much was Morgan involved in this by floating out and by letting, obviously, Utah know, and they found out that, hey, I think I might go to Penn State with Kalani and make a few million a year. And
the only thing is
saying.
that, I think that, and this is where you being out of the market might be different. If you were in the market, the prospect of Morgan going to Penn State was completely obvious. Now, it didn't get to that point because Kalani didn't take the job, but like when the pieces on the board started moving, if Kalani went, the next piece is going to be, Jay, what's he going to do? Well, we'll never know because it didn't happen, but I'm sure the assumption is 99.9% of the people think Jay Hill's going to be the head coach at BYU. And then, okay, what's Kalani going to do next? 99.999% chance he's going to call Morgan. And, everybody here, the pieces on the board, they hadn't started moving yet because Kalani hadn't taken the job, but there was no doubt where they were going to move without you having a conversation.
Right.
Yeah, but then that piece, obviously that information gets to the athletic director of the University of Utah.
But he can read it like you. He can read it like I can read it. But he knows it sitting in his office with the door closed, not talking to anybody. He can figure it out.
So then, though, but to the point of what you guys are talking about, then obviously there's a discussion with Kyle Whittingham. And you know what? And I agree. Kyle Whittingham, if I take your approach, PK, he's making a decision that he wants this program to continue, and he knows long-term he's not going to be at the University of Utah, so Morgan should be. I get all that, but still he was pushed. I mean, he was put in a position where he had to make that decision, and I don't know, and I give him credit for stepping down on that, but I just find it really curious that he has an inkling to still coach. And yes, if I'm a program, and I follow Michigan very closely, my daughter went there. When you pay money to a school, you become a fan of the school. Michigan should talk to him. Now, he won't get that Michigan job because offensively, he's just not an offensive coach. And you have Bryce Underwood sitting there, one of the top prospects.
No.
I
disagree.
I
disagree.
He's the offense so much over the years. That's the only criticism against Whittingham.
Keep moving the pieces on the board now, though.
He brings Jason back.
Yeah.
Bingo.
They lit it up this year.
42 points a game, top 5 in the country. I'd have to check and make sure that's
and New Mexico's offense was awesome. And hell, he brings Devin Dampier, too, for that matter.
Fact.
They don't need Devin Dampier.
Unless he brings Ficklin, unless he brings both.
No.
Unless he brings both.
That is fair. But it took Whittingham 20 years to finally find an offensive coordinator that
and
he would
all
let
the
run
Michigan
a good
cares.
offense.
All the Michigan cares is that he's got one next year and he can beat Ohio State. That's all they care about.
Yeah.
Everything else is blah, 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 yada, yada. They got 47 investigations over here. Best thing I read about this was one of the national people, I don't know who to give credit to, said Michigan acts like they're all high and mighty and they're special in the ivory tower, and the last 5 years tells us they're just like the SEC, and that's why they won a championship.
Yeah, of course.
And there it is.
Yeah.
So,
you have to cheat to win a title. And under our scenario, Kevin, you basically have Jason Beck coaching waiting. He's your offensive genius. And he's young.
Yeah, well, there you go.
And his wife is bubbly. She had to get off social media. That was predictable in this market because BYU fans were going to eat her alive. And then you've got that situation. No, I can see it. And the thing that Michigan needs right now, above all, is stability and a man who has no controversy.
Boom.
He ain't hitting on anybody's secretary or any of that. Kyle Whittingham is about as guileless as any coach I've ever been around. This guy is a simple man. Coach football, go home. Go coach football, and then go home again. And that's it.
But here's the thing. I don't think he's definitely not a top 2 candidate, at least everything you look at. I mean, DeBoer is still sitting there.
Well, I think his age works against him. His age works against him, and the fact he hasn't been in that part of the country. You know, Dillingham is young, and you can see him having some long run, and DeBoer for that matter, too.
Yeah.
But it's also easy to see how both of them, how Dillingham and DeBoer stay put. And then what does Michigan do? I mean, who's to say Michigan's going to get one of their top 2 choices?
Yeah, he's a short-term deal.
Penn State didn't get one of their top 2 choices.
SC didn't, and they hired Pete Carroll.
Yeah. We'll see. Look, I'm not opposed to it. I know he'll bring stability to Michigan. He'll get the program righted. If Jason Beck goes with him, then yes, I could see that argument. At least you do have an offensive coordinator that Witt trusts and lets run his offense. He'll obviously, the defense at Michigan's always great anyways, and now you put Whittingham in a defensive system where you're getting the best defensive recruits in the country on a regular basis. And, oh, by the way, you have an NIL of, I mean, Michigan, they have so much money, it's ridiculous. So, yeah,
right.
It could, I could see all this argument. If the offensive coordinator goes with him, I would say, okay, that's not a bad 3 to 5 year transition plan for Michigan.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see. We'll see.
And then he hires me as chief of staff. My wife's family grew up in Michigan. My mother-in-law went to school in Ann Arbor. And I see it happening, KG.
It all comes back to you, PK.
And then you come here and you take my place.
Oh, yeah, right.
Your fourth trip through town.
Nope, you don't follow greatness. You know what? You're not the man to replace the man. You know what I mean? You gotta give a buffer. So
that's good.
Throw Jake in there or something for a little while, and then I'll come in. You know?
Oh, you just made Jake the sacrificial lamb. You're just wrecking Jake's career. Yeah, you know who did
kidding.
it? But you know who knew the cliche? And who ignored the cliche and said, I'm going to win? Kyle Whittingham.
Yeah.
Don't follow the man. Follow the man who follows the man. That's the cliche. Yeah. And he looked at Herbert like, I'll follow him. 22-2. Show no weakness.
He did all right.
You're
right.
Did.
Yeah, but in his third year, he was like 500.
Oh, he started 16-13. Early in his third year, he's 16-13.
And then he turned it on.
And then it was go time.
Yeah. Well, and the Michigan job's perfect for that because you're not following Harbaugh. You're following a dude that apparently slept with the entire Michigan community. So, yeah,
well, that guy gets around.
You're doing a good thing.
Well, on that happy note, Kevin, we got to go. Thanks for that little bit of Christmas cheer.
I know.
Swinging the mistletoe.
All right, you guys have a great time.
All right, thank you, Kevin.
Yeah. Hey,
all right.
You guys have a great weekend. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Kevin Graham joined us here talking football every Friday. DJ and PK, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
For all of you less motivated listeners, it's time for your 9 o'clock. Where the heck have you been headlines?
Where you at?
With DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, time to get you up to date on everything you missed in this show. The Slacker Radio headlines brought to you by Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan today, your local trusted financial fiduciary. Call them at 801-210-6800 or visit their website at TrajanWealth.com. The Jazz lose. Seattle beats the Rams. The Seahawks have the best record in the NFC, lead the division by a game. Got back-to-back road games now at Carolina and San Francisco. Those aren't gimmies. Those aren't layups. But they are winnable games. Seattle, the NFC playoffs may run through Seattle. I'm not surprised Seattle's having a big year. At the start of the year, I picked them to win the division. I will say that I did that because with everything we heard in the preseason, I didn't think the Rams had a healthy quarterback. So maybe I'll end up making the right pick for the absolute wrong reason.
Would you want him to throw for 600 yards last night?
Well,
450 or whatever
Stafford
it was wasn't good enough?
Stafford has clearly been healthy, and they were just wrapping him in bubble wrap early on. Stafford has been awesome. If he ends up being the MVP, I don't think anybody should be surprised. He's had a phenomenal season.
Yeah, he reminds me of Aaron Rodgers in his prime.
And if I knew he was going to be this healthy, I'd have picked the Rams to win the division. Now, as it is, he's healthy, and Seattle's now on the verge of winning this division. But they were a 10-win team last year. They were clearly on the way up. They jettisoned some big names, some older players that made money. But the NFL's a league where youth can win. Rookie contracts are a valuable asset, and Seattle appears to have made a bunch of good decisions.
Yeah, but I didn't put that much faith in Darnold.
That I totally agree. And see, when I picked them to win, I'm thinking LA's not going to have a healthy quarterback. And San Francisco's injury issues were already front and center. They were losing skill players. It seemed like that group was on the back end. San Francisco and LA have both overachieved what I expected for them at the start of the year. They're going to be 3 double-digit win teams. You can't have the top 3 seeds in the same division, but they may end up being seeds 1, 5, and 6, which is the most you can have, with the 2 best records. And depending on what Philly does and what San Francisco does, maybe they'll have the 3 best records.
Okay.
And I would have never seen that coming. I think San Francisco's overcome the injuries, and I think LA stayed healthier than I expected. But I'm not surprised Seattle's good. But you're right, Darnold in big games makes everybody nervous. They did have a big fourth quarter. Now, having said that, Rashid Shaheed, the former Weber State Wildcat, had a punt return. That wasn't the offense. That was the special teams that got that going. But even in overtime, LA scored first. Darnold could have thrown a pick. But he didn't. They went down and scored. And they certainly get.
Oh, he looked great.
3 straight 2-point conversions, and one of them we're all thinking that wasn't a good enough explanation what happened, because everybody stopped playing. Everybody saw people stop playing. Even a guy who recovered the fumble didn't really recover the fumble.
I got up and went to the bathroom and came back. What happened?
He picked up a Randall ball that was lying in the end zone.
Yeah. I mean, I had been eating nachos and stuff. I had to go.
Nice. Well, thank you for that vivid detail. Also, the nature of these games and how close they are. A Rams-Niners game was super close earlier. This one, we can try to draw the conclusions we want from the regular season, but the old cliche, it's going to depend on who plays the best in the fourth quarter on that day. Right now, it looks like it's going to be true.
That is the old cliche, and I like new cliches.
Yeah, got a new one for us?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, I do. I think it's he's effing good.
New cliche. Thank you. We'll get to the Jazz here in just a second. The NFL picks. You and I made our picks earlier, and Jake has now weighed in. He's taking Buffalo over Cleveland. I've got the 49ers beating the Colts, and you've got New Orleans over the Jets. And New Orleans is coming on a little bit here late in the year.
I know.
And the Jets seem to be floundering, considering that we all have to pick somebody. You can't. You got 18 weeks, and there aren't 18 elite teams. At some point, you got to pick a hot team. Say injuries are going to impact this game, or this mediocre team is going to beat this bad team. At some point, you got to make one of those calls, and you're making one this week.
Yeah. Well, I got to move up in the standings, so I can't pick what you guys are picking.
Right. I got to move up in the standings too. But we've all got different games, so we'll see how that goes. All right, your Utah Jazz with a clutch loss to the Lakers. Scored a bunch of points. A bunch of guys had impressive stat lines. I thought Collier did some impressive stuff. Obviously, Keontae had another 30-point game. I thought Ace Bailey quietly did a bunch of good things.
Well, Ace Bailey looks like he belongs. He doesn't look like he's overwhelmed, and that's what we're asking for. And the athletic ability clearly is there. We see it. We've seen it. I watched Rutgers play 20 times last year, and so you've got that going on there. And with Jorge, if he continues to do this, and we're in March, he's a foundation piece. Now I got 3 foundation pieces.
Kessler, Markin, and Keontae George. And then Ace Bailey could be 4.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So you got 4 foundational pieces. Or you don't want to count one of them.
On this team this year.
Because Kessler isn't playing, you weren't counting him.
Right.
But assuming he's back next year, and I know his contract and all that out there.
Yeah, I don't know that.
We don't. We've got what we do know is the Jazz left $60 million worth of cap room. Now they don't want to spend it on Kessler. They've obviously got other plans and other designs, and how do they make the pieces fit?
So I asked Locke.
I would count Kessler just because I think if he goes, then the odds of a sign and trade are pretty good, and you're getting a foundational piece back.
You would think.
Right.
And I understand that logic, and I was going to say that, but you already said it for me. I asked Locke, when are the Jazz going to play on Christmas Day? Because clearly you got to be a really good team to play on Christmas Day. And did he go 28-29? It wasn't 29-30. It was 28-29, right?
Yes. Oh, he said 29. No, I think it's 29-30. 4 years. Christmas Day of 29 versus Christmas Day of 25.
Okay, that's another year I got to wait, man.
Well, to his point, San Antonio, Oklahoma City, the Lakers, the Knicks, 4 of the 10 spots are gone. You're not really competing for 10 spots. There's 6 spots left. And it's going to be, there got to be 2 more Eastern teams. I mean, you're going to figure 6, even if it's 6 in the West, 4 in the East. You got the Lakers.
No, have a 10 o'clock Western game, and then they can get home for Christmas dinner.
Lakers.
They need to rethink that.
Lakers.
Be home by Christmas by 4 o'clock. They'll take that.
Lakers, Thunder, Spurs have 3 of the spots locked up for the foreseeable future.
And when will they get a Christmas home game? That's even better.
Well,
we'd have to go in the 30s.
That just feels like a flip of the coin. Who knows? I mean, whether the game is played.
I think the better team gets it at home, or if you're the Lakers and whatever.
Well, the thing is, if you're going to be a team that's in it repeatedly, LeBron did talk him into why send those teams on the road back-to-back years. You don't have to do that. To which they said, you're right. You don't have to do that. So they do get home games.
If we just go to LeBron, he'll provide the answers. How long have I been saying that?
He did provide that answer. You got to give him credit. Because SGA's over there like, yeah, we're going to be good for a long time, and I don't want to be on the road every Christmas.
Well, he's from Canada. They don't do Christmas, right?
Actually, they do.
They do?
Yeah, I think it's Thanksgiving you're thinking of, PJ.
Oh, okay. I get
maybe the
those
4th of July is also that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but Christmas, yeah, they do. Yeah.
I thought it was.
They actually are closer to
Santa. That was a U.S.
Santa.
thing.
They're closer to Santa. He's got to be either early.
Well, it depends on what direction he's coming from.
Either early on the route or late on the route. You're right.
What a tall tale we sell our children.
Yeah.
So disgraceful. But I was hoping a year or 2 earlier. But that's probably wishful thinking. But I'm actually going to I'm not going to give that up.
Okay.
Because they'll still be young, but it's more about the level of experience versus the age.
I think that...
And if you're getting a lot of playing time, like Cooper Flagg turns 19 this weekend. Okay, when he's 23, he's still going to be young, but he's going to have 5 years of experience.
And
honestly, it's the same thing with Doncic was.
It's not just the best teams, it's the biggest stars. If the Jazz build a good team, but they build it without a top 10 or 15 player, because they have several guys who are between 25 and 50, maybe you don't have on Christmas Day, even if you have a pretty good team.
Okay, Christmas Eve.
Maybe Dallas isn't
Christmas
great,
Eve,
but they don't play on Christmas Eve.
Well, they'll be the first breakthrough.
That I wouldn't rule out. There's probably money to be made. And people were like, you can't play on Christmas Eve? Sure. Yeah, they used to think you couldn't play on Christmas Day, and look at us now.
Start the game at 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I think that, though, they have the possibility of maybe they don't have a top 10, but do they have 3 in the top 20?
No.
You just rule that out completely. Top 25. How long? I'll go in 5 spot increments.
I do think as you get to like between 20 and 30, it gets to be much more of a gray area. There isn't as much separation.
Oh, there's not much separation between 7 and 8. It's just
no. But I think,
opinions.
it is. But I think the difference between player 5 and player 15 can be pronounced. Whereas from 25 to 35, I don't think it is pronounced. You're looking for the pieces of the puzzle to fit together.
Well, if my guy Jorge continues to play like this, they've got 2 this year.
No, he's pretty good.
That's a drop forever. Save it, Christian. That's pretty useful. I think it's useful year-round.
I think that he...
Mammoth player gets a hat trick. Boom, Will Hardy.
Will Hardy created a narrative that doesn't exist.
I'd agree with that. My experience, and everybody moves in different circles. In the circles I move, most of the people I see have been rooting wildly for Keontae. He was popular before his talent. I think he does.
There's Jazz players are going to be rooting for all of them.
There's that, and he also has just a certain amount of charisma.
But what knock has there been on him?
About Keontae?
Yeah.
Well, this year, I don't think there have been knocks. I think universally, people I talk to this year are like, wow, Keontae's taking a big step.
Okay, but even last year and the year before, he was a kid.
Yeah.
So what? He's supposed to have him. He's going to go, you'll be a perfect player?
Yeah, but
1 year in college? That's never been created.
You're off in La La Land. It's like the world isn't fair. Jazz fans are upset, A, with the rebuild, and B, the pace of the rebuild, and they want what they want now.
So Hardy is responding to fans now?
I wouldn't rule it out. I don't know. I mean,
he was responding to the blowback he got when the video was shown in the huddle.
Well, I don't know.
George was on the floor at the time, and he was sitting over to his left.
Well, I don't know that. That is super plausible. That is, I mean, I can't prove that, but it's very plausible.
Oh, that's coaching 101.
And in the play right before the timeout, he's in a fast break, kind of bluffs at the guy with the ball, and then goes to defend the guy in the corner, and the guy with the ball gets a dunk, and that is Junior Jazz Basketball 101, stop the ball on the fast break.
And that's fine. You rip your guy, then build him up. You just can't constantly rip, or they tune you out. Now he builds him up publicly, and George has already heard that. I mean, come on. It's clear why he did it, and good on him for doing it.
DJ and PK, your feedback coming up next.